Hey guys, Dylan Shock here with ScribeWare Software. Just wanted to let you know this is about a 1 hour meetup we did to go over RV inspections. Wayne Kosters has built a really amazing template. It's helping a lot of experienced RV inspectors do higher quality inspections more quickly. That's the goal for all of our scribers is to improve profitability by letting them do higher quality work more quickly. So if you're interested, have a look at this video. We start to unpack a few of the features that we built and how Wayne's template works for RV inspections. Thanks for watching.
Well, George, some of this or most of this, I think you have down in spades, but we'll see.
Well, I appreciate it. I've really um, enjoyed all the changes that we worked on together because it's improved my speed of and the quality of the reports because I don't have to do the editing that I used to have to do. And I'm getting better and better at it. And like Dylan taught us that one trick the other day. I've already been using that with
Oh,
the
great.
pictures and the captions on it to make it into bullet points.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
my
because
favorite thing in the world.
one of the things that happens is I get up on the roof of a RV and there's every single thing becomes a reportable event, and the customer ends up with 20 different things all about the roof, and then they freak out and say, I don't want to buy this RV. So by doing it in the bullet points, it's a little less intimidating, I think.
Yeah.
It's less intimidating for both the customer as well as the dealership if they get the report and need to do the repairs.
Oh, sure.
So we're still letting a few people in, guys, and then we'll kind of get going. We got Seth on here, Jay, and Ibiato. How are you, man? Eddie.
Hey, good man. How are you?
Good. Great to see you. Do you do RV inspections or you just
No, I'm just want to learn about the software.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's great to see it. And
I
I mean,
know.
Wayne was showing me a feature before we let everybody in that I've never seen before. So, hang out and I think you'll learn a bunch of cool software tricks here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so with that said, the section name is only against this template.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But whatever, we'll be, it's an example of like I think we'll be learning like some cool stuff about how one can set up a template. So it's good to see you, Eddie.
likewise. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. It's 2:02. We'll wait a few more minutes, see if anybody else trickles in, and then we'll get going here. Check my email. Sometimes people like can't get in or something.
Do you have to be certified to do these inspections, or anybody can just have not basic knowledge?
So this template is set up. I was an RV. I had my education in 2019. So there's an NRVIA in Texas that does the certification.
I see.
And so this is a template based off of uh, that layout and their requirements.
Got it.
I know a few that don't have the certification that are using it.
Right. Well, why don't we get going, guys? It's 2:03, so welcome everybody. We really appreciate you guys being here. This is a cool chance for Wayne to kind of show off what he's built in ScribeWare with an RV template. And I know he's been working on this for years. So he's put a lot of effort into this template. Even if you don't do RV inspections, I think there's some pretty cool template ideas here that you might be able to snag. And we can hear from Wayne why he uses ScribeWare for RV inspections and how to kind of use his template for RV inspections. So, Wayne Kosters, take it over, man. I'm excited to check out uh, ScribeWare and RVs.
Yeah, so like I said, I got my training in 19. About 3 years ago, when Home Gauge was sold to the insurance, and I was having difficulties with some data loss issues, I contacted Dylan They did the initial port of a single template that I had. And by single, in RVs, we have trailers and motorhomes. And many have two templates to support that. But then there's a lot of commonality that you're flipping between two, adding comments to two. So have come up with a single template that handles almost everything. And if it doesn't, I want to hear about it because it's an opportunity. Um, there have been some neat changes in the last 6 months. One of the ones that will show is doing a substitution on section names. So we have the different sections, and there's a lot of duplication. And when you do a motorhome, you just check off the travel trailer. I'm going to import some photos that I have kind of canned, and you can go to the plus and then go to a folder on your PC. This is a USB stick, and it will start importing those in. So that's one method of getting pictures in. And then we're going to really operate on my Android device and show some of the capabilities and features. So this is the one I just imported. It's going to start pulling in those pictures. We're a little different in that we're looking to have the year, make, model, and VIN, and we're using the agent name to facilitate that.
And
I use the
correct me if I'm wrong, Wayne, but when you put that stuff under agent name, even though it says agent name on the back end, the finished report, we've got some code where the finished report
it
doesn't
really
show it.
doesn't affect the finished report.
Okay.
It does affect the contracts.
Okay.
So, but there's verbiage and it's transparent. So it doesn't show as agent, is
Cool.
the short of it.
And if you copy and paste that into the overview, then it prints on the finished report.
Oh,
You are
yeah.
correct there as well. And we'll see that. I use the inspection notes for two things. Putting in the name, phone number of the dealership contact, and then I use it to track my mileage. So all of these are at a dealership or a private party. I put the starting mileage, and when I'm done, I put the ending mileage. And so that's just a nice place to capture that, or that's
Cool.
worked well for me. Here we see the same information that we have on the desktop. Like George said, putting in the year, make, model into the overview, and that will then end up on the title page of the report. Use the circle to indicate an item is complete, and we can use the arrows to go to the next section. General information is kind of what it is and what's the weather like in that kind. So I'm going to do a Class C. It's a buyer pre-purchase. It's vacant at the dealership, and hopefully, I've done some with client present, but don't like them. So that section is done and we'll go on. So it's really easy to just go through. I've pre-checked this and put in the VIN, but if we hit an observation, normally I would take a picture, but here I'm going to drop in the VIN plate. Very quick, and I'm finished with that item.
And just so everybody gets it, those are the pictures that he added from his computer onto the desktop, and they went up to the cloud and then they went to his mobile device. So he's working on the mobile device from pictures that were placed into the desktop version.
Yes, and this is really, really great for multi-inspector teams. I have a son who is an RV technician, and we go out and do inspections and really don't need to talk during the inspection. We just look to see what's finished and what needs to be done.
Cool.
Yeah, he, in many cases, does the roof. I have those areas that I like to do. I normally start out by just clearing those items that aren't, in this case, a motorhome.
So you're checking them green, and that's kind of making your required fields go away. Is that right?
It's making the required fields go away and also indicating that finished.
Yep.
It's dual purpose.
Yep. And you're doing that because you have every conceivable thing you could possibly need for any RV or motorhome or fifth wheel all in one template.
Correct.
Yep.
If it's a trailer, I'm not going to do a road test. So gets rid of those requirements, needs attention. So the needs attention is those items that the NRVIA requires, points of inspection.
Well, you got 352. I thought I had a lot of home inspection ones. I have like 200, but that's impressive. That's a lot of stuff to look at.
Yeah, and it all depends on the type of RV that you're inspecting.
Hmm.
Motorhomes have more. So I have a Winnebago Echo, which is a Class C with no slide outs. So I would get rid of the slide outs. I'm going to show a roof and have the ability to add a sealant note. And then George suggested some quick triggers. So have added the eyeglass to add a roof overview observation. And then what type of roof it is, it's fiberglass. Then going to we can pull in I'm going to take a couple of pictures. And if we go to the screen here, there are labels. So these are kind of standard NRVIA photo labels that have been added to the template.
And I'll just point out for people that don't get it, ScribeWare supports a unique photo captions library that is separate from your regular observation library. So it can be really helpful when when you want to, use pre-made captions for your photos. Then Wayne only needs to type in a few letters and then use the keyword search to retrieve them.
Yeah, so this one I'm going to get rid of. And I'm done. I'm not going to finish, but you can see all of the observations or items that are required, which are marked in red.
Yep.
And then have added common observations, which can be triggered here as well.
Which those are great because you just hit sealant failing, take the pictures, and you move to the next thing.
Yeah, and there are areas where there's a difference between short press and long press. And for instance, the camera, if you do a long press, will drop you into that text box immediately, which is neat. Here is all of the observations that are canned, if you will. And if we add one of these, we can then, we have to add it here. That took me a little bit. And then we can change the severity or category by selecting it. Have added an inspector only observation. This is a good area to do a kind of catch-all, or if you're questioning if it's going to be a problem, add the observation. I then flag it, and then once I've completed all of the required, what I'm left with is a list of flagged observations, which really encompasses the end result of the inspection.
Yep.
In this case, we have solar, which is in yellow. If we hit that, we can see we have a selector. We can change that and have multiple. So anytime there's yellow, that's an option. So that's kind of rough. I'm going to get then into the sidewalls. Well, I'll do antenna. So we have fixed or movable. If you do fixed, I have a narrative. And here again, this is a list of the different fixed antenna types out there. And so it's really quick to identify, select, and complete.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wayne, there's all those other red required fields. Are you not going to use those? So would you just use the turn it green and be done with that?
No.
Okay.
All of those to hit the points of inspection required by NRVIA would need to be selected.
Okay. Do you want to just show us doing that then? I mean, you'd basically just go through.
One of the things that we do is what's called a hot skin test. And so I'm going to show that on the mobile in electrical. And so it's something that we're encouraged to do right away. So there's the note. I add the observation, do my photos, and then if there aren't any hot skin, which is 99%, 95% of the time, I can quickly select these. And this is another neat feature of ScribeWare. I can hit the first item, and defaults are normally first item, hit the title, and just march through quickly.
Oh, that's really nice to just shrink them up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done with hot skin. And there are other areas, interior, where that is the case as well. A lot of questions that are part of the NRVIA standard that have the first item as the most probable, and I can just march through them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back up to sidewalls, and this is one of the other things that is really nice about ScribeWare is the layout of the template is focused for the report. The inspection process may not follow linearly. In many cases, doesn't. So it's one of the areas that I had difficulty with home gauge was jumping between sections and their, what are the two styles and materials. Anyway, so here is one of the unique things that have added in the last 3 months. This observation is has a substitution. This section name will be substituted with the section that you're in. So now I only need to have one observation for the 4 sides of the coach. Similarly, for wheels and other repetitive items, and that's true then as well in the defect observations.
You want to
That
click
makes
in?
sense.
You want to click in one, like fill one out so we can kind of see how that works?
Well, I'm going to go back here. One of the most common ones is paint condition. It's not acceptable, it's fair, and I have defects. That has added a narrative. So we now
But you
have
don't have to put a location because the location's just built right into your template, basically.
right. In one of the NRVIA requirements is to define what it is, where it is, and what's wrong.
Hmm.
So this, where it is taken care of.
So you basically built a template that has all the wares in it, and when you just put in a defect, it now links back to that ware so that you just don't really have to deal with
Correct.
wares as long as you follow the template.
Correct.
That's
And then I
amazing.
can select
Eddie,
multiples.
Eddie, I don't know about you, but I kind of want that for my bathrooms, so then, because
Uh,
I create a chapter per bathroom, and then
You
I
have
could
to
just,
be repetitive.
yeah,
yeah,
I have to build all these little pull downs individually, but if you just link back to the section name, it's kind of more global. I mean, that's really nice.
yeah. So our interior has kitchen sink, bathroom sink, toilet. In a motorhome, you could have 2 bathrooms, 2 toilets, or actually you could have 3 in a toy hauler, one in the garage, one in kind of the living, and one by the bedroom. And in those cases, I would duplicate this, and I can do that. So that's the half bath sink. And I can similarly duplicate a toilet.
This solves the problem of you don't necessarily have to have all these built out on the fly on the mobile device. Even if you're offline, you can just add these things so that when you're done, the template kind of molds to the RV that you're inspecting.
Exactly. Um, tires, George encouraged me to add a different chapter for travel trailers versus motorhomes. I have kind of standard, but did a Super C where it had, instead of a tag, a second set of duals. And so I didn't know that until I got there. I was able to then change tags to rear, inside, rear, outside. So it was able to add that at the time of inspection, which
Wow. So, and I'm just looking at your template here, but you have a lot of information for every tire wheel, the load capacity, the range. Do you fill that out for each tire?
um, I do.
Hmm.
Um, in some cases, I actually cheat a little and capture the one, and if they're the same, do it on the desktop when I get it back.
Hmm.
Then I can do cut and paste
Hmm.
to satisfy those. So it's a combination, but there is a lot of information that is captured, and you can see that uh, it is only the red items that are tagged as review items. So there's a lot of information that's being captured in an RV inspection.
Yeah.
Uh, back here, I'm going to show the library. Um, we can show media captions, show observations. Uh, one of the things have over 20 comments that reference the standard that RVs are designed to. And so you can see that those are connected to fields, so I can trigger those real quick, or I can search while I'm doing, is there one that fits to this uh, standard violation, if you will.
Hmm.
Um, and you can see there's just a lot of areas that are covered. Here's another one where there's a substitution.
And do you have these built into the template so that as you're just kind of rolling along, they automatically pop up as needed?
They they are this in this section. There is a hot link to trigger a panel issue.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of flexibility. I had a customer that I talked to just a couple of days ago who was looking at an RV that had a second house battery bank basically installed. So large solar and second battery. By having this as a section, I can duplicate that and make a traditional house battery, and one is a 48-volt battery system. So this layout is extensible and works with almost all the RVs that I have seen, including destination trailers and park models, which some people don't do. I have done a few. By having all of the items available, so I have a Class C. It's called a Winnebago Echo. Normally, a motorhome has an ASME propane tank, a single fixed tank, but my Class C has the 20-pound propane cylinders. So by having both of those available, before with two templates, a travel trailer that had DOT and motorhome having ASME, would run into situations where you don't have the flexibility. This got it covered. That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you could just turn green whatever you're not using and then fill it in if you're going to use it, right?
Yeah, I can take pictures. I can indicate it's a dual. I do need to, I think, add a comment. And then you just march through. And it's quick.
Do you
Interior.
do,
Go
do you
ahead.
g- well, do you generally get inspections done on site? Is that kind of the goal, or?
I do not complete inspections on site.
Hmm.
And the reason is for the photo tagging, I find it quicker to do it on the desktop afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, Interiors of air conditioners have provisions for three, but one can easily add a new one. So I haven't done the large Prevo conversions, but some of those can have 4 or 5 air conditioners.
Wow,
That this can handle that.
crazy.
Um, so I'm kind of jumping around, but you can see the flexibility. So any questions on kind of the layout capability um, on the mobile device?
I don't think so. George, what's your workflow? Do you try to get things done mostly on site, or do you kind of what's how do you like to work?
I try and get as much done on site as I can. And so, like, for example, if I'm doing the exterior and I'm going through the sidewalls and I come to a cargo compartment, and in that cargo compartment is the vacuum cleaner, I will jump from cargo compartment to vacuum cleaner section, take pictures of the vacuum cleaner, and then I come across the inverter. I jump to the inverter section. I come back to the cargo compartment. So I'm constantly, as I encounter something, I am jumping from section to section, taking the pre-written comment and just snapping my picture.
Yep.
And where the association says I have to tag every picture, I mean, comment every picture, in most cases, it's clear as day that this is the vacuum system, this is the inverter, and there's no need for me to go back and I feel there's no need for me to go back and put in something that's very obvious.
Redundant.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you, George.
So that's how I do it. And I'm finding that I might have 30 minutes of editing once I get home and the report is done. And sometimes I do, like you said, on the tires where it's all repetitive. I'll just grab the first tire and then do my tire pressures, and then I'm jumping onto the next thing.
Yeah, and in that, in the wheels, in the notes, I have added, so this is a standard comment that the NRVIA kind of has given us, that recommendation to be replaced after 6 years. Have another canned one that date codes.
So it's so simple, like that one. You just grab the picture of the date code, you throw it right into the then you just comment on the picture. This is the curbside front tire, and you're on to the next.
And then if there are issues with cold pressure or missing valve caps, I do those as well. And this is another area where there's a selector then of the different locations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm going to. And
George, has this template and ScribeWare been helping you speed stuff up then?
Oh, by far. I did about 30 of them in the home gauge, and now I've got at least 100 and more than 150 done in ScribeWare. And since Wayne and I worked on these canned comments, I'd say it's cut my editing time and my on-site time by 50%. So I mean,
That's
I'm
awesome.
probably used to take me, say, for a Class A RV, it would take a full 8-9 hour day. Now I can do it in 7.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
great.
do a big fifth wheel in 5, sometimes less than 5. So my time on site is increased because of these canned comments, and my accuracy, because I'm not using the headset and saying the sealant is bad and then it says the ceiling is bad. I gotta
Yep.
I gotta catch that. So for me, it's been a incredible improvement, and I've had other inspectors at the same job site, and they just almost couldn't believe that I was done with a bigger RV than they're working on. And they're using the home gauge. So for me, it's kind of nice. I know that it's making my rate per hour, better. I'm not having to spend as much time, and there's
No,
still,
that's such a great statement, George. I mean, this is what software ought to do, right? It should make you better, faster, and smarter.
and
You know?
what I'm hoping
yes,
for is with the other people that are participating in this, that more ideas will come up, and there's further enhancements that we can do throughout the whole template to add in more things. Um, you know, so that's what I'm hopeful is just because I said the sealant's failing and these words doesn't mean that those have to be the words that we're always going to use. Or someone might say, well, why don't you just do this? And I'll go, duh, okay, let's do it.
Well,
yeah.
wait,
So
go ahead, Wayne.
I appreciated the input that George has given. And one of the notes is I did make a run at master certification inspection, and it was a learning experience. Didn't get it. I did, however, this last year get master technician. But through that, um, getting Grammarly and using that to make sure I have well-formed comments, observations, really was helpful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Dylan, that recommendation, big thumbs up.
Yeah, Grammarly is great, and it works pretty great with ScribeWare for the most part. The other thing I
Uh,
just wanted to touch on that George mentioned is, what it points to as well is that if you put the time into the template, it'll pay you back. And that's to me the time you spend fiddling with your template is literally the time you spend making your company more profitable. And ScribeWare's got so many tools that if you keep trying to fiddle with it and ratchet it, you can just keep kind of raising the quality of the report and making things faster and making yourself smarter. It's pretty cool when you do
yeah.
that.
I have a question.
Yeah, shoot, Jay.
Hi, my name is Jay. I'm an RV inspector in North Carolina, and I just transitioned to ScribeWare at the new year. First of all, Dylan, I think I sent you a question on a Saturday morning, and you responded to me, and I really appreciate that because I was up against the wall on an inspection, and I had that, and I appreciate you coming back. And then I think it might have been Sunday or early Monday. I had a question for I think maybe one of your programmers, and they got back to me right away too. So that was very refreshing to be starting off in the software.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
but Wayne, the template you put together, sir, that thing is just phenomenal. I worked to build a template that basically converted over a lot of what you've done here. And then my question basically is, does the database comments, do they stick per template, or do you kind of accrue those system wide there? Because Wayne tried to share his template with me, and I was afraid it was going to overwrite the changes that I had, and so I declined that. But having a better understanding of how the comments are impacted if I'm importing other people's templates or anything like that, can you help me out with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Wayne, do you want to answer it? Do you want me to answer?
I'm going to start,
Yeah,
okay?
please do. Great.
So I don't know. Are you running the latest version?
You're muted, Jay.
Sorry, I got lost here for a second.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe I'm running the latest version. I mean, I've just downloaded everything and I'm getting it on my devices. And I've actually done an inspection with it, and it was a breath of fresh air. Because I've always not enjoyed a home gauge, before, and I'm also an Apple product user, and just the transition back and forth was great. So I believe I'm on current for everything.
Okay, so this is my knowledge. And Dylan, you're going to have to uh, make corrections if I'm wrong. Um, when I do an update, you get a new template and library. Okay, so you've seen some of you probably weren't here a year ago when the section name substitutions weren't in place. I should be clear. You need to name those new sections correctly, because when you do a preview or run your report, that's when the substitution occurs.
Okay.
So don't do a preview and then go modifying section names, because it's done the substitution. It's my understanding that you can add your own observations to the library, and I would recommend doing that in a new library group.
Okay.
And if you're willing, I would love to hear ones that you think should be added?
Um, I have organized my template very similar to what you have. I followed basically the initial home gauge template. I set my template in to get converted, and it didn't really translate like I wanted it to. I went with uh, the um, the one that I believe that was produced or available when it set out with the RV inspector. It offered me to use a template in there, and I kind of modified that for what I needed. What I did end up doing is what you just said is as I went through and I was doing some of the preview, I would see that it would still say section name for whatever phone number. So I renamed all those and added those as my particular title that I do for the sites. But to see that I could put placeholders in there that end up populating when I produce the report, then okay, I like that. It's much cleaner and a little bit easier, to do because labeling the photos, that's really what took a lot of time under home gauge is just trying to show what you were, explain what you were taking a picture of. And obviously it's a tire, but because of the organization requirements in there, you wanted to make sure you're meeting those. And so,
Right.
but yeah, if I mean, I did see this morning that you did say I got a message that says Wayne wants to share a template with you. I'm sorry I clicked no, but if I can somehow get back on that list again, I can go through and I can keep your information. If I have changes or anything that I would recommend, I'd be happy to do it because we've been in business for almost 5 years and done hundreds of RVs. We're pretty
Yep.
experienced season in here, but we're new to this software, and I'm really looking forward to working with this software as our season kicks off here.
Yeah. So let me go back to the desktop. Should we drill into? Let's look at library. Actually, I don't know if we added a section, we can then go in library and the wheel assembly comments end up in this library category. So you can find out where things are at. You can add your own, and when you get a new version from me, and hit merge, you won't lose anything. So that's the first thing I would suggest.
Okay,
right,
perfect.
Dylan?
Yeah, that's my understanding. On the home inspection side, it's interesting because I don't think people it seems like with what you're doing, Wayne, and I applaud this, you're really sort of curating a template more than I do in ScribeWare, where it's kind of like, here's a starting place, go off and, go on your merry way, and you're really like updating this. So I think if you merge the template, you'll be able to keep your own comments. And I thought Wayne had kind of a brilliant idea would be if you want to start adding them, you might build a library category that holds all of your comments, and then they will be kind of, at least on the back end structure, physically separate.
Mhm.
Do you want to kind of show Jay and George how you can kind of like make a new library category?
Add new category.
Right at the bottom left there. So yeah, you could have like Jay's
Jay's.
comments.
And what are we going to do?
Let's see. Let's do like roof racks or something that you kind of run into every once in a while.
Okay, I'm in the wheel. I'm going to cancel out of this. Cancel. We're going to go to roof. In the main roof section,
Okay.
hit the edit, go down to library category. Don't have globals there. So this is the category that this section is going to pull from.
Okay.
So if you add a Jay's roof and add your observations there. Now, when you add an observation to the library, how does it know where to go? Do you know, Dylan?
Yeah, yeah. I would almost need to steer. I wonder if I can control for a minute. I'm gonna request remote control. All right. So if you click on this entries, I think it'll bring me into the library. Yeah, so now I'm in the kind of back end of the library. So we could create either an observation or a media caption. You can hit the little plus mark here. So now and you see up here, when you're editing an observation, you have this library category. So new J observation. We've got this new comment that you've added, and this is what's interesting is that if you click up here, I can assign this narrative to any of these folders of comments that Wayne has. In this case, we want it to stay with Jay's roof comment, but that's kind of how you it's this library category up here is where you assign where it goes, and then as soon as I hit add library down here, now we've got a new comment under Jay's library. And we can always view these by edit the category list. And then now we're going to see that whole list again. And now we see here's Jay's roof and it has one entry. So we've kind of added a new library category and a new comment. How cool this is, the reason this is, I think, especially neat is we were just in the roof section. So I'm going to get out of that for a minute. Let's say we want Jay's comment under awnings, for example, or you want to move it there. So here we are under door awnings, and I want to have Jay's comment in here. I'm going to come up here and edit the section and edit library category down here. And there's Jay's roof comment. So I could click on that. And now I'm going to add, we'll update library category. Wayne, you might want to write down where I put this, or we'll remember to delete it. But now I'll put a keyword search in, and there's Jay's comment. Isn't that cool? So in theory, the idea that Steve had when he designed this is that really, if when we go to edit section and view all these categories, his idea was let's just create all these folders of comments that could be applied to any different section in a template. And so Jay, like if you were making more than 500 comments or I don't know, like a lot of comments, then you might have Jay's roof, Jay's refrigerator, Jay's air conditioner, whatever. But you could, if you were making like 50 comments throughout, you could probably lump them all into one thing, Jay's comments, and then have that same folder available to you all over the place. Does that make sense, Jay?
Yeah, it does. It makes complete sense. And that's the thing. I felt that when I was editing the template, it was my template to make the way I wanted to look. I mean, I watched a lot of the tutorials and stuff, and so yeah, that makes sense in how to do that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to really making it so the workflow works good for us and everything. And I'm the same way. I jump around the templates too, or if I come across equipment while I'm on there, I'm trying not to go back to that equipment again. So I'm going to evaluate it and operate it, right there. So yeah, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, one thing that maybe you could show, Wayne, I don't know if do you ever use on the mobile app the add to observation feature? Because that's a
Um,
really great feature that I think Wayne could demonstrate. But once you choose a comment and it's in the report, because you mentioned, not wanting to not have to navigate too much. I mean that I'll let Wayne demonstrate it, but as a home inspector, for example, if I'm on one side of the house and the tree's too close to the house, I'll hit a comment that's like prune the trees off the house. And then I go to the other side of the house and there's another tree touching the house. I can take that picture and hit add to observation, and it'll bring up a list of all the observations I've already put in the report, and then you dump that picture in.
yeah, yeah. Actually, I've used that. If I find something irregular or if I find something that's way out of the what I'm looking at, I'll put it in there and kind of leave it unfinished. So that way, when I'm going through to check the report, I can put it where it should go, or I could finish off the comment, or
Yep.
and at least I have a good image of it. So yeah, I use that several times on my first inspection with ScribeWare.
Awesome. Nice. That's great. Wayne, do you want to just demo that real quick so we can see it?
So,
And maybe you don't have to if you don't use it, but it's one I use a lot.
so we're going to add a new observation.
No, click out of that and just click the camera and just take a picture.
Okay.
So we'll snap a picture of your hand or something. You got the keyboard there. Click on that picture now at the bottom left. And you see
Oh,
how add to observation is right there in the middle. Click on add to observation. Now you have a list of all of the observations you've already added to the report. This isn't everything in your template. It's what you've already put in the report. And the idea is now you
yes, I
could go
have
back
used
to the
that.
well and then dump that new picture into either of those two comments.
Yeah, for ones that exist. Yep.
Yep.
Any other areas or questions?
The one thing that I would point out is that Wayne, with what you and I've been doing, is really nice because it puts all of our things into the same exact template by filtering it through you. So, like Jay, if you have things to add to the template, we can filter through Wayne if you're want to do that, and then we all have the same template. We all benefit from all the things that have been added. So like I spent a bunch of time with Wayne, and Wayne spent a ton of time putting in things for me in there that have helped, and I'm sure they're helping you as you're beginning. um, and then as you add stuff or anybody else wants to add stuff in, if we filter through Wayne, we all end up with the beneficial template instead of trying to go off on your own template, and then not getting the benefits of the new enhancements.
Yeah, I also include like a little bit of education in my report, like say like annual maintenance statements for roofs and things like that. And it's just, nothing too technical. It's just general information. Because a lot of our clients are first time RV owners, and I'll just say, roofs need seasonal maintenance and they should be done with this and that. Or for example, like
So
oh, go
different
ahead,
than
sir.
this?
Um, No, but I think that maybe those comments, like maybe a standardization or making it so if another inspector begins using the template, that's a good resource for them to put in there. Like slide seals. They're a wear item, and nobody really educates clients on that. If your RV is more than 5 years old and you need new slide seals, then that's not a major issue. That's just part of normal maintenance.
Yeah. So Jay, I would love to hear any suggestions. I agree with you regarding slide seals. I don't have a standard comment there, but can see the benefit.
Well, one
I think
idea I'm
that
throwing out, I don't know what modifiers you have, Wayne, but I love the language where item, and that could be a whole modifier in your summary of like, here's a list of all the where items that you're going to have to deal with. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
bad idea. I don't know anything about RV inspections, but throwing it out there.
Yeah. Um, should we run through setup quickly? I'm presuming Jay and George have done this in spades. Have any issues there, Jay?
No, not at all. I'm just watching and learning. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so you have your profile, have your certification, um, boilerplate. Did that come across and was that close to usable?
Right now, it's the default one. You want to switch to the RV one?
Oh,
There you go.
yeah, and I have added a reinspect and walkthrough, and if you send me an email, I can definitely share those. Um, so this is I don't know where that red line came from.
That it came from your Zoom. I've done that before. There's like some sort of drawing tool in Zoom.
Anyway, kind of standard. Uh, if you have suggestions on any of this, I'm uh, teachable. Contracts, Jay, you have those up and running and figured out how to do placeholders?
Yeah, I've got that pretty much up. I do my cover sheet a little bit different. I use I think I forgot what it was, the agent name for different location. So I kind of have to modify some contracts per user. But I got the notes down that you had mentioned on there, and I'm going to give those a whirl and see
Yeah,
if it works
so
better.
One thing I just wanted to say about agreements, guys, if you use the submit feedback button and give us feedback on what you need, we're actually kind of rebuilding we're going to have some really cool stuff. We're releasing a client portal that's going to be available soon. So rather than sending just the report, you could have this whole portal. So we're going back to the well and kind of improving how the agreements work and drip emails, and we're going to have payment processing. But if you give feedback to Steve, he's building a lot of that stuff now. So, he might not automatically think of what an RV person needs without your feedback.
So like we
having something different than the agent field that is probably split into two pieces, year, make, model, and VIN would go a long ways.
Cool.
and we
Well,
need
keep
two addresses. One address is where we're doing the inspection. The other address is
True.
who we're doing business with.
Yes.
Well, keep hammering the feedback so that Steve knows about it, and that's the best way to get what you want. And there's certain things that we're not doing for a while, and so it's hard to know when it would happen. But this is kind of a good moment where I know we're working on that stuff right now, so it's more
Yep.
likely that that kind of stuff could happen sooner.
I just called up my report that I did, and I'm using the property address as the RV, year, make, model, floor plan, and I'm putting, let's see, the where did I put the VIN? I put the VIN somewhere else where it populates on the screen, and then I was sent some custom CSS to arrange the way the
Cool.
introduction was set up, and like I said, it worked out great. I mean,
Nice.
unfortunately, I don't have access to a way to snapshot that and share it on the fly right now. But once I get everybody's email addresses, I can kind of set it out to you and show you at least how my cover page looks when it comes out.
Yeah. And I can do that as well. Um, so contracts, we know the observation modifiers. And then it sounds like Jay, you've delved into the CSS, and there are a few changes that have done there. Um, doing a preview. The overview comes under the picture. I didn't take a picture. And only those items, and you found this out, that have observations end up in the report, which really makes it easy. It's a clean report before you start adding things, is the short of it.
Yeah, I love that. Eddie, that's kind of how I've designed my template, where it's like it's a clean report until I start adding things, basically. So it just starts out with a clean slate, and I love that because it means that there's nothing in there that I don't want in there. Well, guys, any other questions? I mean, I think we are able to cover a lot. I mean, Wayne and I are, we really appreciate you RV guys here. Like we would like to build more of a community around this. There's sort of some impediments, so word of mouth will be important. If we want to build an RV community around this, we kind of need advocacy because there's some impediments with sort of the structure of how everything's set up right now that are very typical of America. There's a lot of pay to play kind of stuff happening. So, but that doesn't mean that there can't be a grassroots movement. But Jay and George, we appreciate your support. And I just want to say, Wayne, I'm so impressed with how this is a real labor of love. I mean, Wayne has put so much effort into this gorgeous template, and I can tell he's just passionate about trying to build a beautiful report. So we're proud to be working with you, Wayne, and I know you're working hard on it. So.
Yeah. So, Jay, reach out. George, it's been a pleasure working with you. If you guys have any questions, get a hold of me.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do. I'll look you up and send you an email in there, and I'm happy to help out with the introductions or whatever. If we can make a better report that's useful for everyone, I'm happy to contribute.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
George, did you have some comment there that we didn't mean to cut you off?
No, I love it. I appreciate everything Wayne's done. It's like I said, it's really improved my efficiency, and I really look forward to more people having inputs like this maintenance section. I think that's great, and more and more stuff like that. It just can only make it better, and so I'm really excited about it.
Well, tell your buddies, and we could try to, with some, if we keep hearing interest, we could organize, biannual meetups like this that are specifically RV. I mean, I do monthly meetups for home inspection, and I don't think we have enough of sort of bandwidth. But Wayne, you can lead these in like with the three of you guys. But if we get more traction, we can start organizing more of these, and we'll do what we can. So. Let us know how we can help on our end, and we appreciate you guys. And yeah, we'll try to keep pushing it all forward.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll see you,
Eddie.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks, Dylan.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.